We're talking Primate today on
Gene
Gene
and
and
Roger got
Roger.
big time.
And for those of you watching us on YouTube, of course, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere.
YouTube's where it's at.
But if you're watching us, you'll notice somebody you've never seen before. It's Isaac Smoldon. And a quick...
Isaac's been on our show before, on the audio version. No.
Well, no, we were on his show one time.
Yes. Excited to be here on Gene and Roger Talk Movies. First time, long time.
Well, and the thing that I love about Isaac being on is about, 2 months ago or something, Isaac was all excited because he's like, Roger, have you seen the previews for Primate? Because Isaac is not a horror film guy on any level.
Not horror.
And so he's like,
but we did the Shining episode.
We did. And he was like, I'm gonna watch Primate and I'm gonna come on your show. And so here he is.
All right.
It's playing at the theaters right now, so here's your one and only spoiler warning. Gene, where are you at with Primate?
Primate. All right. Isaac, you're a cool guy. You do altruistic work. You're a strong man in your community. But as soon as I heard this recommendation from you and Roger,
I knew that Gene wasn't going to like this from listening to the show, by the way.
I knew that I needed to have super low expectations. And I went into the theater with the lowest expectations possible. And lo and behold, Primate exceeded those low expectations.
Wow.
I could not hate this movie more. It is like full of all the stereotypes. It's predictable.
Definitely.
I wrote notes, and there are many points under the predictable category. It's not realistic. And what I mean by that is that all movies have a suspension of disbelief. I mean,
you really have to suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, we always know that we're in a theater, but you still have to follow what I called the realm. Everything has to fall within the realm of possibilities. And when a 200-pound chimpanzee is hanging from wires that hold up the lights, and he pulls up a 150-pound woman, actually she's size 6, so she's probably 110, tries to pull her up, and her hair pulls out, and he doesn't fall in the pool. No, that just doesn't happen. And if producers if they don't care enough about their movie to make things make sense, then why do I have to care? And then also, it's just so full of not common tropes. It's like dumb, sex-craved teens, people not realizing surroundings. And you just got to have characters you like. And like, I hated that dad.
Oh, really?
I hated that guy. And it just at the end, the sex craves teen and the dad, they walk into a dark house. And then what do? What is the first thing you do when you walk into a dark house? Especially if it's your house, Dad. No, I eat the old pizza. Yeah, I eat the old pizza. You turn the lights on. I better stop right here. The movie offers nothing new. We've seen it all before. It's just like body parts porn. Like, the idea is that you don't need to have a plot. You don't even have good acting. You just have to have size 6 models getting their bodies shredded, and just also I see some intestines and some brain parts. Oh yeah, that's good horror. Yeah, that's where this movie's at. I could not despise this movie more.
I had a lot of questions because you guys are you're the horror experts, and the last horror movie I watched was The Shining when we recorded that episode. That had to have been like 2 years ago at this point.
At least, yeah.
So
that was a long time ago.
So I was, for context, I watched this movie. It was just my buddy and I, because my wife would not go watch the killer chimpanzee movie with me. Shocker. So I texted my buddy day of.
She's a good woman. You stick with her.
And I said, hey, will you go watch Primate with me? We sit down in the theater and we realize, oh, we're going to be the only ones in the theater watching this movie. And I was like, thank you so much for coming. I did not want to sit here by myself. So I had my phone out for some notes. And even not watching horror, I knew, even I felt like there were some major tropey portions.
Yes.
Like, okay, well, there's 4 able-bodied people in this pool that could very easily, bites and scratches and broken limbs and wounds, sure, but they could curb stomp this chimp. What is going to transpire to where they don't curb stomp the chimp? Well, Buddy flies over the edge. I mean, which also, they definitely must have blown the CGI budget on the chimp, because he's falling down the cliff, and then all of a sudden it just cuts to bloop. Just did
Like-
anyone else notice that?
like
when
like he landed on his head.
he lands on his head just like dunk. Just they drop the mannequin from 4 feet or whatever it was.
Yeah, why not just, if it's horror, just show the whole thing.
You said it. You really focused in on the chimp. What's his name? Ben.
Yep.
Ben.
I kept wanting to call him Jack because that's the name of the chimpanzee in Most Valuable Primate, where the chimp
Oh yeah.
ice skates. Have you seen that?
No,
It's
the
not
chimp-
horror. It's
the
a different kind of
chimp
horror.
ice skates?
Yeah.
No,
So I'll
I'd probably rather
sidetrack.
watch that movie.
So, so the part I thought you were going to focus on was their whole explanation is that he gets rabies, and that turns him into a methodical killing machine with a vendetta against the entire household.
yeah, it's kind of thought of like, even that's been done before.
And-
Stephen King with Cujo did that.
And I was like, I don't think rabies does that. But when I saw the trailer for Primate, the
Yeah.
movie, I was not going to the movie to watch some super grounded, this is how the chimpanzee would be driven to kill. I just wanted to see, how is this chimpanzee going to kill as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And I will say, for that being my expectation, I love that his body count gets up to 6. I love that the first guy, and my buddy and I are placing bets on this halfway through the movie.
Yeah, the
right?
first
And
guy, it happens right away.
it's so tropey that I called it before anyone died. I was like, Dad, younger sister, main character live, everyone else, they're getting the axe. I love that the first guy that dies gets his face ripped off, because I saw this trailer right after I watched the Netflix documentary about the ladies that own chimps and get their faces ripped off.
Yes,
And I was
yes,
like,
I wrote about that.
Very
Yeah.
grounded. That's
Yeah.
that's what happens in real life.
Yeah,
Talked
yeah.
about the second death already. Even as like not a slasher, not a horror person, I was like, that was pretty cornballs.
What was the second death with the girl on the stairs?
No, second death is dude flies over the edge. They let him
Oh,
rush
yeah,
the chimp by
yeah,
himself,
it's like-
and I'm like,
that was
guys,
so
what are you
predictable.
doing?
It's
Very see it coming from a mile away. Best friend dies. Knew that was going to happen right away. Then, you know what was interesting about this movie? I laughed with and I laughed at this movie. And I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
cringed and yelled at the screen like, "Oh my gosh!" But then I also thought there was some really cool little scenes for this kind of lower budget horror movie. When the guys showed up, I was waiting for that the entire time. I could not wait for the frat guys to show up
the
and
frat
get
guys, yeah,
dismembered
that's a
by
good
the
way to
chimp.
describe it, yeah.
And I was legitimately like laughing. I thought it was very funny. He goes upstairs and he's like, 11 missed calls. Damn, and just like lays down, and you just know that the chimp's about to rip him apart. I thought that was very funny, and that
While they were in a stranger's house in the dark, not even looking for a light switch.
No, they immediately split up to go get killed by
Right.
the chimpanzee.
Right, exactly.
But I thought that was pretty funny.
That was
the
pretty funny.
death from that guy. You guys watch a lot more slasher films than me. That is like my worst nightmare. I broke my jaw when I played hockey, and that freaked me out. That was I knew it was coming as soon as he kind of started reaching for the face, and I still got a little that I thought that one was good. And then
good.
fifth guy beat to death with a shovel. I really liked the car scene. They used it in the trailers a lot, and the look on her face as she gets to the car, like, yes. And everyone's had that moment where they start fumbling for their keys, but never when you're about to be murdered by a chimp. I thought that was very funny as well.
But we knew, we could see, again, like you said,
You
can
see them all from a
million
mile away.
miles away.
Yeah.
Of course, the wrong keys. Yeah.
Yeah.
She has the keys for the other car.
I do have some questions. Why is there a button on his iPad that has the word dead? What was the context? He's sitting there at the pool. He's like, dead. When did you need that in the past? What was dead? Where the chimp needed to communicate.
Right. They do the whole thing with he was raised by this linguistics lady, and so she's trying to teach him how to communicate and all this stuff. And
there's of course the scene that it is gonna be the one that everyone talks about. Lucy, bad. Lucy, bad. And then at the end of the movie, the cops are just playing the monkey iPad. I don't know what they're doing there. So yes, I was definitely cringing and laughing, and you can see it coming from a mile away. It was 89 minutes long. I like that it respected my time. I was in and out
Yeah,
very
we're
quick.
in and out. Yeah.
And I will say the scene that I really liked, because they set up at the very beginning the dad's deaf, so they all know ASL, and I'm like, oh, of course it's a chimp, so you have to have someone that uses ASL because they're going to teach the monkey ASL. You know, whatever, part and parcel. There's a deaf person in the ice skating
American Sign
chimpanzee
Language,
movie
right?
too. Yep. And then the dad shows up, and Ben is getting ready to kill the main character, and apparently the rabid chimp is, again, for some reason, a methodical killer, and says, I'm going to go finish off the dad instead. And she's sitting there, and I'm like, why aren't just start yelling? Like, let him know that something's wrong. And I said that out loud because we're in an empty theater, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the dad's deaf. And
Yeah.
there's this really great scene that I think probably for you guys, you probably it won't. I'm so naive when it comes to my horror movies, so I like this scene a lot. But the dad walks in and he doesn't turn on the lights, but you know the chimp is attacking the girl in the other room, and he's just casually going through his routine, and they cut all the audio, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh man, that's really good. And if you look behind at the movie posters, it's like silent betrayal, silent shadow, and the chimp sitting right behind him. I was like, okay, I probably fell for this a little too hard, but I like that they set up all these pieces and it kind of came together for this climactic scene.
Yeah. See, I really had a lot of problems with that because if you're, I mean, come on. I mean, you don't have to hear things to know that they're happening. You're in a wood frame house. They vibrate. I mean, things are happening in a different part of the house. You're going to know. I mean, I'm seriously. And then if you're deaf, right, doesn't your other senses, they rise up? So, right? And so it's just not believable. It's not, again, it's what my phrase was, the realm of possibility. It's just,
I turned off my brain to what was possible when the rabid chimp became a serial killer. That's when I was like, well, not a real thing.
I just think that if the producers, directors, you know, if you're not willing just to try to be logical and make the movie make sense within the universe you set up, then why do I have to care? You know, I don't have to care if you, so you, because clearly you don't care. Why do I have to care? That's how I see it.
So I liked this movie quite a bit.
I knew it. I knew it.
And I'm actually surprised Gene hates it at the level that he does.
Oh, it's, yeah.
Yes. Is it every trope you've ever seen? Yes. Yep. Is there some artistic merit going on, like what Isaac was talking about? Well, that is a really smart choice by the director to, every time the deaf father, who is a deaf actor, by the way, is on screen at the end there, and the chimp is behind him and stuff, our audio is also cut as the viewing audience, and then it'll cut back to audio when he's not on screen. I really liked that. But I also liked it's a rabid chimp. And so, of course, nothing is going to make sense after that point. I like how the director put the kids into the pool for a 20-minute, 25-minute period of time, because, of course, as you know, as people get rabies or creatures get rabies, they develop this fear of water. They don't even drink water anymore.
Right. Well, plus, chimps can't swim.
And then, of course, also the chimps can't swim thing. And I'm also not that disappointed with the first death, or the boy's death, because when the chimp jumps down onto that ledge, because basically it's this really cool set where there's this infinity pool, and then it backs up right to this cliffside.
Yeah.
And then the chimp jumps over onto the cliffside because the group of kids have kind of pushed themselves over to that side. And the one guy is like, dude, I can just push him right off the cliff and solve the problem.
You know what's funny about that is, again, empty theater. My buddy and I at the same time are like, push him off.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that's so awesome.
And then he's like, I'm going to push him off.
And so I like, on some level, how these characters were acting legitimately, right? We can push him off, because how many times in horror movies do we see, I'm not going to do the thing that's just obvious and staring me right in the face? Of course, he forgets to realize that chimps are dramatically stronger than we are. Yes. And so, of course, it fails, which, of course, it has to fail, because then the movie would have only been 15 minutes long. I also like the setting up of, we're going to have these two random idiots show up halfway through because we need more deaths, right?
Teens,
we need more killings.
and they both die.
The only real problem I have with this movie, and it's not necessarily a problem, but I would have once again amped up the gore quotient a lot more. Isaac's talking about the very initial scene, which is actually kind of a flashback scene where this guy gets his face ripped off. And right there, I was like, okay, this movie understands what it needs to do, which is give me the goods, give me the horrific, rabid monkey violence. But then it doesn't really do it again. There's like the shovel sequence where you do not see that really happening. There's the sequence in the car, which could have been much more amplified as far as the violence. The jaw removal scene, okay, that one is completely solid. Where was more of that? I think as far as dangerous monkey movies go, this one is up there pretty good.
What's the list of first of all, please, Roger, dangerous chimp movies.
Well, sure. But I think
yes, great ape. There's a difference between apes.
I think
monkeys have tails.
In the Shadow of Kilimanjaro is probably my favorite. It's a very obscure movie for some reason now. I think it's a rights issue. It's very hard to find, but I saw it in the theater. A whole group of baboons go on a killing spree. There's Chakra, which is also really great, which is, again, another baboon movie, because, of course, baboons just inherently are kind of scary.
Well, they are. They have these huge fangs.
Yeah,
and they
and
like
so,
smile at you, but you know they just want to kill you.
But I also like the Stephen King connections here. Clearly, there's the Cujo connection, which the director, Johannes Roberts, who's also directed a bunch of other horror movies, 47 Meters Down, and what is that other one called? I don't even remember now.
A lot of natural horror movies.
But yeah, he's all into
horror,
those.
47 Meters of suspense.
But I liked the Cujo references, of course, the rabid animal. But I also liked, and Isaac, I'm glad you pointed it out, because the only other horror movie he ever saw was The Shining. There is a callback to The Shining at one point in this where they're trapped in this little closet, and the monkey Ben is pushing his face through, very similar to Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
I have a note that just says, "Here's monkey,"
right,
because that's what I said in the theater when he tries to.
And I think Isaac also pointed out another benefit of this movie. It's 89 minutes long, right? Mm-hmm. And so it is not doing any more than it needs to do. It's you get in, you get out. The movie has a clear end, and off you go. And so I definitely am recommending this. You know, and Gene, I think, I don't know, we don't have him to that level yet.
No, we'll never be at that level, because if you're going to spend, like, even this is low budget, but it still has great cinematography, it's great lighting. You know, everything is on the technical side is really good, but once you talk about movies, what makes movies great, it totally fails. And Roger's right. If they had just amped up the gore, so let's just forget. Like, the Terrifier movies are known for this. They have no plot, no acting. They don't even attempt, but they get by with it because they just have tremendous amounts of gore.
Gene, you've only seen Terrifier 3. You don't understand the lore of Art the Clown,
No,
baby.
I understand. I don't need to see I'm not. I know. I understand it already. Like this movie, I knew what I was getting before I came in, and that's what I got. You know, so Roger's right. If amped up the gore, this movie would have been a lot better on that level.
I'm sure that I'm talking to horror fans with your audience. I will say that it has never happened before that a lower budget horror movie has had a trailer and a concept that is, I don't want to say intriguing. It's not a very complicated concept.
No,
but something simple. That I want to see enough that I tell Roger 2 months in advance, Roger, I'm going to this movie. And I came expecting low budget chimpanzee murders a bunch of people movie, and that is exactly what I got. And like I said, I think that there was a couple scenes that were really well shot and a couple things that were well set up. And as someone that watches a lot of movies, if not a bunch of horror movies, I actually was pleasantly surprised. I appreciated those portions, and dare I say, it is a movie that at some point in the future I may watch again.
Oh yeah, definitely watching it again.
Never.
Gene, any final thoughts on Primate?
Final thoughts? I don't know. I just wrote some notes about that. I think this movie and you alluded to it, is that there's an actual story. Charlotte Nash, you can look it up. She owned a monkey, a chimpanzee,
Mm-hmm.
great ape, sorry, not a monkey, as a pet. But these chimpanzees from how their anatomy, whatever, they're exceptionally strong, and they can reach weights of over 200 pounds. And this monkey attacked her neighbor and like tore her face off, and
Mhm.
she was permanently blinded. She lost her hands. It's a story, you could look it up. It's she's actually quite strong character woman. She has numerous surgeries, and she's moved on with her life. And just sometimes, I guess they're cute as they're younger. It just makes me think of Michael Jackson, and he had Bubbles for a long time. But where's Bubbles now? He's 200 pounds, and he's in some nature reserve in Florida. And then just thinking of Jane Goodall and all of her research, and her research shows that chimpanzees can be extremely violent. She documented them, actually, two groups of chimpanzees actually engaging in war on one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just the whole idea that you can have chimps in some kind of domestic setting just baffles me. It's like a situation that's built for horror. So I guess it's a good setup for horror, But I just wish, like Roger said, this movie just amped up the guts, and then it could have saved itself. But
For sure.
but maybe, because you brought up a good point, is that maybe this movie's trying to appeal to people who are maybe not regular horror viewer going people. And so if you amp up the gore, maybe you
Lose some
cross a
folks.
line.
Yeah.
Well, but I think, Gene, usually you can spot those movies because this would have been PG-13, right? Those are the ones that are really trying to do that broad scope. I think Isaac was just one of the fortunate ones to see a trailer and be like, okay, I can go check out a rabid monkey movie.
Yeah.
What the hell, right?
Yeah.
But Isaac, you also run a podcast, a sports-related podcast. Tell us about that.
Yes.
You got the jersey going.
If you're a sports guy or gal, we get to do fun sports podcast at work to the house on YouTube. Link in the description. Watch Brian Fields and I make a fool of ourselves every week, freaking out about sports things. And also, the rest of the My House Podcast Network is really cool too. If you want to hear stories that are real life and
Stories of
uplifting
recovery and people
yeah,
coming from
that's
dark
great.
places
Yeah.
into the light and stuff like that.
And I'm also on the Anchorage Wolverines podcast if you're a hockey guy. So all over the place. Yeah.
All right.
Very good.
It begs the question. You're wearing a Seahawks jersey, so what is your prediction for the conference championship games? Can Denver pull it out?
No. I'm here to say right now that I am not going to be a hipster and say that the Broncos can win. The Patriots are going to stomp them.
The Patriots will probably stomp them.
And I will also put out right now, I don't know who's going to win Seahawks Rams, but the winner of that will win the Super Bowl. That is my,
I would agree.
prediction.
I would agree.
I would say it is definitely the NFC's year. Final thoughts for me on Primate. Definitely see it. Don't listen to Gene on this one.
Don't listen to me. Right here. I'm Gene.
Next week, we will be, Scott Eggleston will be joining us. Director Scott Eggleston will be talking about Alone. And so definitely tune in for that. Isaac, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
If you ever see another horror movie, we would be happy to have you back.
My buddy wants a Primate prequel to figure out how he became such a methodical killer. He's not buying the rabies thing, so he wants like the tortured origin story.
Well, maybe
of Ben.
maybe that the iPad that had the button that said dead. You put a thought in his head.
Maybe
Like a precursor.
yeah, and
Yeah, it's a gateway drug.
some sort of head trauma that altered his
maybe.
personality.
Could be.
I'm just saying.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye.